It's time for The Verdict. The Verdict is a lively discussion of current events and legal issues pertinent to Oklahomans. The Verdict is hosted by Kent Myers and Mick Cornett. It's time for The Verdict.
And welcome once again to The Verdict. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mick Cornett. Kent Myers is one of Oklahoma's top legal experts and our co-host for the show. Kent, we're reminded that 100 years is a long time.
It is indeed, and I don't want to tell you how many of those I've occupied, but quite a few. We're really pleased to celebrate a 100th anniversary on this show, and at least talk about it, for Oklahoma City University, also known as Oklahoma City's University. We've had President Tom McDaniel on before, and he's told us a lot about the university and told us a little bit about the upcoming celebration. Well, it is upon us. And we've got two guests today that are going to tell us a lot about what's going on out at 23rd and Blackwelder. Lots of fun things going on there and elsewhere. I think our viewers will enjoy this. We'll appreciate the guests we've got. And I think the subjects are going to be fascinating, and we'll give our viewers something to do when they run out of things to do on a September weekend or weeknight.
Our state centennial still 3 years away, but the university centennial is this week. We'll hear more about it coming up on The Verdict. Welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett with Kent Myers. Kent's going to introduce our guests.
Today we're really thrilled to have two native Oklahomans with us to talk about OCU's Centennial Celebration. On my left, a very familiar face to all of you, I know, Jayroe, Miss America in 1967 from Laverne, Oklahoma.
Yes.
And a graduate of OCU, and where she got her bachelor's in music and her master of arts from the University of Tulsa. She's been active in many media and community activities throughout the years, and currently she is the spokesperson for the Oklahoma City University Centennial Celebration. Jane, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
We're pleased to have you.
I'm delighted to be here.
On my right is Mike Knopp. Mike is a native Oklahoman and is the head rowing coach at Oklahoma City University. Mike is a graduate of Oklahoma State University and a law graduate from the University of Oklahoma, but left the practice of law to do what he really likes to do, and that is row. And he is in charge of Oklahoma City University's rowing program, both the male and female part of it, and he's getting it off the ground. He has been active in rowing both in this country and abroad. And Mike, thank you for joining us. We're really pleased to have you also.
Thank you. Well, Jane, discuss your affiliation with OCU. You graduated from there, and now you've come home, in a sense.
I have. I've served on the Board of Trustees for many years, and then this opportunity presented itself to kind of join the team in a different role as Centennial Spokesperson. And really, I'm just helping with a lot of the Centennial events and helping to spread the good news about what's going on at this great university, Oklahoma City's University, as you mentioned. So I'm having a wonderful time.
Strong alumni at the school?
Absolutely. People that go there really maintain a soft spot in their heart for this school because it is so family oriented. It's so community oriented. It's a small school, and kids that come there get a lot of individual attention, as you can imagine, and there's just a lot of bonds that form that last a lifetime. So having this opportunity of the Centennial Celebration to call people home and invite them and say, come together and let's celebrate, you know, what this institution has done for us and project how we can be a participant in the future.
Jane, there is a several-week schedule of events for the celebration. One I want to focus on right now because you are very prominently involved in that. We are, of course, taping before the dedication of the plaza.
Yes.
At the Gateway Plaza at Oklahoma City University, I guess donated by Kerr McGee.
Absolutely. We're so appreciative.
But we're going to have three statues there, and I want to ask our director to pull up the picture, not of the statues, but of the people who will be depicted in the statue. They are the three OCU Miss Americas. And there it is. And you're, of course, there on the right. Can you identify the other two for us?
Absolutely. In the middle is Chantelle Smith Wirch, and Chantelle was Miss America. Susan Powell from Elk City with Miss America, and I don't have their years in front of me, but we like to forget the years anyway. But that was when Chantelle won. We were the three of us there, and we're great friends, and they have so generously agreed to come back for this special tribute. The statue has been made possible, the three statues, by Mr. Gaylord and Mr. E.L. Gaylord, and we're so appreciative to the Gaylord family for. And this is really a symbol of the tradition that OCU has when it comes to the Miss America program. Since LaDonna Kramer Minders was Miss Oklahoma in 1956, we've had 33 state title holders in the Miss America pageant. That's just unheard of. 24 Miss Oklahomas, and then Miss Kansas, Miss Colorado, Miss Illinois, Miss Nebraska, Miss Minnesota, who've been students at OCU. And so it's really a tribute, I think, to the tradition of excellence, of scholarship, of high character, of the self-discipline, and the achievement of dreams. So a lot of these women are coming back to share in this celebration, a lot of the former Miss Oklahomas, so that will make it really special.
Well, it's too bad we can't have 33 statues instead
I
of just 3.
I know.
But tell us a little bit about the plaza. Where will it be located on the university grounds?
The Kerr-McGee Plaza will be right there at Northwest 23rd and Blackwelder, and it will be a new entryway, as you mentioned, into the university. And as you walk through the archway, there will be the statues of the three Miss Americas. Positioned throughout this garden will also be stars, acrylic stars in the brick that will highlight some of the many successful people that we've had who've attended Oklahoma City University.
Jan, we're going to be talking to Mike about the regatta, but what other events are going on at OCU in celebration of the Centennial?
Well, just in a few minutes on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock will be the chapel service, our Centennial Chapel service. It will feature the new Methodist bishop for Oklahoma and this region, Bishop Hayes. Dr. Leona Mitchell, one of our graduates, will be performing. So that's a very special occasion. Of course, the regatta that Mike's going to be talking about, but there are events scattered throughout this year's centennial events, and really the public's always invited and welcomed at Oklahoma City University. And we'd like for you to check our schedule of events if you'd like, or call us anytime at 521-5000. Also, we have a website that we'll be able to provide for you, and just check our schedule of events and come visit. We have a distinguished speakers series throughout the year that has people of interest, so we want people to just feel free to use this as their university.
OCU has a symphony orchestra, and they'll be performing, will they not?
Absolutely, and a new centennial piece has been composed just for this occasion by our composer in residence, Edward Knight, and that will be performed, that has been performed at 11 o'clock on the dedication of the plaza. So the entire music school body will be presenting Cradle of Dreams by Edward Knight with the text by Mary Jane Alexander. So that will be very special. And our dancers will be performing as well. And
you'll welcome visitors from off the campus to come observe what's going on, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And just come anytime and see this new area. Walk around the campus. We have so many new buildings. It's so exciting. And Mayor, it's just so neat to see how we've paralleled really the renaissance of the city with also the renaissance of Oklahoma City University, with the expansion of the Norrick Art Center, with the new focus on international business, with our new Wanda L. Bass School of Music that's being built. It's just awesome. Our dance school that's being renovated. We are really an expansion of Oklahoma City's arts and cultural activities, as well as the athletic activities.
Every great city has a great university.
It's true.
You can look it up. We'll be right back with more on OCU's Centennial Celebration. Welcome back to The Verdict. Mick Cornett and Kent Myers, your host. Jane Jayroe is here along with Mike Knopp. Mike is the rowing coach at Oklahoma City University, and you've got a special event involved with the Centennial for OCU. But I want to know a little bit about your background. How did a rowing coach get to OCU? Because it doesn't seem like a natural progression out there.
This is probably the most unnatural progression of any rowing coach I know, but I actually started out as an attorney. I graduated from the University of Oklahoma School of Law and practiced law for several years in the DA's office here in Oklahoma County, and then also at the FAA. All during that time I rowed, and I actually coached in my spare time. I developed the OCU club program and the OU club rowing program, and worked with the city on the development of the river and that project. And it just really became so much a part of my life, and I see the benefits of rowing in, not only the community, but also the young athletes that I worked with. And I thought when the opportunity arose, I thought it just seemed natural.
Well, I want to hear the sales pitch, though, that got you to leave law to be the rowing coach. How did that happen?
Well, President McDaniel is a great leader at OCU, and it was really hard to not say yes to the request, because I've seen all of the great things that have gone on at OCU, and with the river, we have just such a wonderful venue with what the MAPS project has provided in Oklahoma City that I think a lot of the people around this area are just beginning to realize. And just to be directly involved with the university and with the city in helping develop that is just a really a great opportunity that I didn't necessarily have in practicing law, although I did love the practice of law. So we'll see what happens in the future, but I really enjoy what I'm doing now.
Let's talk just a minute about the head of the Oklahoma Regatta on the Oklahoma River.
Yes.
What does that title mean, and what is the event going to be?
Well, the title, it is a head race, which is a style of rowing competition that is held in the fall. The biggest example of that being the Head of the Charles in Boston. And that attracts over 300,000 people annually out to the river in Boston. And so they're longer rowing events, that usually over 2 miles, and over a curvy course with bridges and obstacles, and that's all part of the strategy to that kind of a competition. So at our race on the Oklahoma River, this will be the first event of its kind on the river, and it's going to take the entire area from the Western Avenue Dam to the Eastern Avenue Dam, with a great deal of challenges for our competing crews through some of the curves that the Oklahoma River has as you approach the Eastern Avenue Dam.
When is this going to be?
This will be held October 3rd of this year, and
so that's a week from the day this show airs.
That's exactly right, next Sunday.
Yep.
Yes.
And tell us about the time. When do the events begin?
Well, the event is, while it is a rowing competition, this is an event that we hope that the entire community will come out to, because while rowing is the showcase, and we hope people want to come out and see Harvard and OCU row, we're going to have an arts festival as a part of this, featuring artist Bert Seaborn and 16 other artists. We're going to have some performers from OCU, including the pep band and the Surrey Singers. And we're going to have food from local eateries. So it's really going to be a great day out at the river. It's going to begin at 8 a.m. with a special Riverside OCU chapel service that's open to the public. Then at 8:30 we're going to have an opening ceremony, and we're going to christen some boats. And christening boats is a tradition that goes back hundreds of years in the sport of rowing. And we're going to name some of our boats after sponsors for the event. And then we will take to the water at 9 a.m. and races will take place throughout the day.
Okay, for those people who live in Oklahoma City and have never been to a rowing regatta, which would be about everybody, what do they need to do? Does it cost them anything to go? What sort of, do they sit on the bank? What would their experience be like?
Well, the great thing about this, what an event of this kind is designed to do, is just to bring people to the river, just to enjoy your Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning at the river. It doesn't cost a thing. You can come down, free parking, free admission. There's going to be food available and T-shirts and that type of thing. But to get in, you don't have to pay anything. We will have bleachers set up, but you can just come, throw a blanket down along the river, and just hang out all day.
What's the best time to come? If somebody had an hour or two to spare, what was your advice?
I've got a sneaking feeling that a lot of people want to see Harvard row, and they will be rowing about 11:30 on Sunday morning, and again at 1 p.m. on Sunday. but we do have teams from all over the country literally coming to this event. Harvard being the most notable team just because they have so much history. Harvard is actually the oldest collegiate team of any sport. And so, the first intercollegiate competition was between Harvard and Yale in a rowing race. And so,
Who won?
I believe Harvard won, but that's they are annually just a dominant team, and they're bringing so much tradition. And truly, it was an honor for us to and a surprise that they were willing to come this far to experience our event and be a part of it. We also have teams from University of Texas, Baylor, University of Kansas, Colorado, really, big universities across the Midwest. We actually have University of Virginia, which is a top 5 women's program, will be participating, as will Georgia State University. So we're real excited to invite these people to Oklahoma City. They're going to see our river, see our city, and we think they're going to spread the word and come back.
Let's divert our attention just a minute from the regatta itself and talk about your program at OCU. It's co-ed, I take it?
It is co-ed. Well, we have a men's program and a separate women's program.
Yes.
And we have right now about 30 athletes. The great thing about the sport of rowing is that while I have some top-notch rowers that came from high school, one from Oxford, England, it's this type of sport. It's unique in a way that it will attract to all different kinds of high school athletes. So the recruiting base is very, very broad. So while I'd love to have high school rowers with experience, most of the Olympic rowers that you'll read about, you'll find that they may have not even started rowing until they were in college. They may have been a high school football or basketball player that discovered the sport in college. Maybe they weren't good enough to be on the high school or the college basketball team, but found out that, boy, they make a perfect rower. So, we're right now trying to reach out to the coaches in the state of Oklahoma, basketball coaches, swimming coaches, all different coaches, and educate them about the sport and the opportunities that it does provide. We do offer scholarships for rowers. So.
And again,
Good
that's
luck.
1 week from today is when the rowing competition
1 week
takes
from today.
place on the Oklahoma River,
Yes.
October 3rd. Jane, final word about the Centennial, just a few seconds left.
Well, it's just so neat as we celebrate Oklahoma City University's Centennial and look forward to the state Centennial. It's just important, I think, to have these marker events, to congregate in the present and celebrate the past and prepare for the future. And we want all of Oklahoma City to really join with this great university that's affected so many lives in this great celebration with a lot of our alum and this wonderful new program with the Regatta. It's a great time in the life of our university and the city and state.
Jane, Jayroe, Mike Knopp, thanks for coming on The Verdict.
Thank you.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Kent and I'll be right back. Hello there, Mick Cornett with Kent Myers. Every Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, we're right here on a show called The Verdict.
And this Sunday, we're going to be talking some more about Oklahoma City's University Centennial Celebration, the 100th anniversary of Oklahoma City University.
It's The Verdict right here on KSBI, Sunday morning, 9 o'clock. We'll see you then.